Welcome to an excerpt from Jihad in the West, Black Flag Over Babylon by Mark Selinsky, with a foreword by Sebastian Gorka. It was published by Indiana University Press in Bloomington and Indianapolis. This reading is presented by Kensington Security Consulting, which brings education to national security. In the last excerpt, we discussed the sad story of Australian grandparents trying to rescue their grandchildren trapped in the vise of the Islamic State. Now we look at American parents who struggle with their own children. The killing floor. Killing floor. That part of the slaughterhouse where animals are killed. I want to do an Islamic Bonnie and Clyde on the kaffir, Bridget Namoa, Australian convert to Islam, 2016. Introduction. By 2015, the Caliphate's long, lethal arm had reached well beyond Mesopotamia. Its cells and lone operatives plotted in European cities and suburbs. A sleepy southern California town, a Tunisian beach filled with British vacationers, a hip Parisian nightclub, a watering hole for Orlando's gay community, the French Riviera, the squares, streets, and haunts of London. All these venues and others became slaughter pens for the state. The first part of this chapter will discuss the Caliphate's killing in the West and in places frequented by Westerners. The second part will discuss some Westerners who have gone to the Middle East to fight their enemy, the Islamic State. Killing on the home front, Westerners make sense of the violence. From its inception, the Caliphate encouraged its followers to kill non-Muslim Westerners. Some adherents did so, proclaiming their solidarity with the state. The killings became so frequent that the carnage lost its shock value. The Caliphate innovated and escalated the level of violence. The state's death list is long. Occasionally Jews were targeted, as in Copenhagen and Paris, because Islamists hate Jews in particular. Many killings were random, but some were deeply personal. A blonde Danish teenager murdered her mother after watching the Caliphate's beheadings of British hostages. Only 15 years old when she savaged her mother with a large kitchen knife, she was a convert to Islam. Most of the state's victims had little or no interest in politics and simply wanted to live fulfilling, joyful lives. Many were killed by chance. They could not have known their lives were in danger. One case among hundreds is Nohemi Gonzalez. The Mexican-American was studying design in Paris, and her boyfriend missed his little firecracker, as he called her. Dining with friends at a Parisian bistro, she was killed in a bomb blast on November 13, 2015. Dead at 23, the little firecracker was the only known American killed in the Caliphate's Paris attack that day. Like many similar victims, she had fatally bad luck. Had she finished her meal an hour earlier, she would likely be alive today in Los Angeles. In August 2016, a Norwegian citizen of Somali descent who had moved to Britain went on a stabbing spree in Russell Square, London. One of the victims was a 60-year-old American woman whose husband was a psychology professor at Florida State University. She and 3 others, an Israeli woman, an Australian woman, and an American man, were stabbed. Only she died. Often the killings are directed. In the hills of San Bernardino, a husband and wife pair of Caliphate supporting killers left their baby with family and then went to a well-attended Christmas party, where they shot at anything that moved. They killed 14 fellow workers. The Caliphate was delighted and called the killers, both of whom were slain in a police shootout, lions who made us proud. They are still alive. This is what happened. Profile 23, San Bernardino, Crimea River. 200-year-old San Bernardino is a small city located in the hills of Southern California. It is not particularly chic or famous. Gene Hackman, the two-time Oscar-winning actor, was born there. Julie London, whose song Cry Me a River made her a famous torch singer in the 1950s, grew up there. San Bernardino is the first major town on Route 66 in California, reached from the east. A famous song invited Americans to get your kicks on Route 66. Many listened. San Bernardino was the gateway for millions of Americans beginning a new life in California, the Golden State. San Bernardino was also home to Syed Farooq and Tashfeen Melik, a married couple with a baby daughter. Syed Farooq was born in the United States and turned to Islam with fervor. A county food inspector, he spent much of his free time in the mosque, memorizing the Quran. He described himself on a dating website as enjoying working on vintage and modern cars, reading, and target practice with younger sister and friends. The target practice would prove useful later. His Lonely Hearts ad landed him a wife, Tashfeen Malik. They married in August 2014 and had a baby girl. Tashfeen Malik was born in Saudi Arabia to a middle-class Pakistani family. She studied pharmacology but was deeply religious, exploring Islam with passion at night. Most of her neighbors did not know her at all, and she did not mix with men outside her family. She was almost always veiled when outside the house. Few people outside of the family knew the depth of hatred the husband and wife held for the United States. But they made their presence known on December 2nd, 2015. They dropped off their baby with relatives, explaining that they had a doctor's appointment. They had no such appointment. The couple drove to the San Bernardino County Health Department with heavy firepower. They discharged up to 75 assault rifle rounds into a crowd of workers, some of whom had worked with Farooq. They killed 14, taking them completely by surprise. This concludes a reading from Chapter 7 of Cauldron of Terror Gaza, Hamas, Israel, and the World by Mark Selinsky, published by Pen and Sword. If you enjoyed them, please consider subscribing to continue listening to other chapters. The book is available online or at major bookstores worldwide. Dr. Selinsky's latest book, Cauldron of Terror, Hamas, Israel, and the World, will be available for purchase in early spring 2026. This reading does not represent the official position of any agency or individual within the United States government. On behalf of Kensington Security Consulting, thank you for listening.